Hi guys, and welcome back. And today we're talking about 5 metal songs that any beginner guitarist can learn. So let's jump right into it. Alright, let's be honest, you've started a new skill and the worst part is always those beginning stages just after you've lost motivation. And all that's left is your own discipline. And it's so important at those beginning stages to have those moments of victory to keep you pushing forward. In the case of learning guitar, it's being able to play an actual song that people can recognize and people can be like, oh damn, you can play that? That's dope. So without wasting any time, we're gonna jump right in and yeah, let's do this. So to kick things off, we're actually gonna talk about the track For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. Fun fact, this was actually the first full song that I learned on guitar as well, way back in the day. I think I must have been 13 or 14 when I first learned this song. Because up until that point, I've mainly just been doing other Metallica riffs, you know, sort of piecemealing like other tracks of theirs. But For Whom the Bell Tolls was the first track that I was able to play from start to finish. And I think you guys can as well. Granted, I will say that this list is best for people who have probably already played like 3, 4, maybe like 6 months of guitar already. You know, you've developed those calluses on your hands. So just keep that in mind when looking at this list as well. But overall, For Whom the Bell Tolls, pretty simple structure, nothing too complex. The riffs itself are pretty stripped back for Metallica. It's a lot more slower in tempo than some of their, of course, fast-paced tracks such as Battery. And even at its most difficult, it's still very manageable. The most difficult part, of course, being that sort of lick just after the first chorus. Now, if you're a complete beginner, it could come off as a bit challenging, but I think it's a good challenge to have, especially a beginner, because overall, as a lick, it's not doing anything fancy. It's a repetitive lick as well. If you are able to play it, you'll find that it'll really strengthen your fingers on your left hand, which is, of course, your fretting hand, unless you're left-handed, which in this case would be your right hand. That's your fretting hand, yes. But overall, For Whom the Bell Tolls, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'd highly recommend any beginner guitarist to try out that one, especially if you're a metalhead. Okay, moving on. Another popular band to look at is Pantera, of course, and specifically, I'm looking at the track Walk. So way back in the day, a movie called Jaws came out and had the infamous track that only consisted of 2 notes. It was an E and an F going back and forth, building up, getting faster, progressively more terrifying until the climax. Similarly, with Walk, it's technically just 2 notes as well. Granted, it is a lot groovier and less terrifying, but in reality, it's just 2 notes. Now, I am aware the track Walk has a very intense solo. There's a lot more technicality to it when you get deeper into the track, but let's just not focus on that and mainly just focus on the catchy riff that everyone knows so well. And give Dimebag credit, he somehow is able to use 2 notes, similar to Jaws, and make it so unbelievably memorable. Anybody should be able to do it. It's literally just open the first fret with a bend. That's it. Anyone can do it. And if you meet any metalhead, they'll know what you're playing. Moving on, we're going back in time even further. And this band was actually featured on my last video, and that is, of course, the band Black Sabbath. Because let's be honest, when you're the first band in the metal scene, there's a good chance the riffs you're playing and music you're playing in general are relatively easy. And the pick from them I went for is none other than Iron Man. Now, barring the actual MCU, Iron Man has been a classic staple of any metalhead's playlist for, well, since the track came out, which I think I said last time was in 72. And it proves the fact that simple is sometimes better. Because again, similarly with Walk, you don't need thousands of notes, ridiculous chord progressions, or jumping between chord progressions and licks and all these noodly stuff when you can just have one good riff. And that is what that track is as well. Very straightforward. The man who invented it didn't even have a full set of fingers when he was writing it. So if he could play it, theoretically, a person with all their fingers in working order should have no problem at all playing it either. The main riff is relatively straightforward, and all the subsequent riffs after that are just the same. The only hard part I'd say is, of course, the guitar solo again. Again, I'm not going to stop you from challenging yourself. If you can do the guitar solo, do the guitar solo. It's up to you, really, at the end of the day. All right, for this next track, we are going a bit more modern. I mean, I say modern, this is from 2000s, but I think it's good to have some more modern songs, you know, to have something slightly more relevant. And I'm going with In Flames with Cloud Connected. This is an absolute banger. I love the track from day one when I first heard it. Again, the main riff, pretty straightforward. It's just like a chord sliding to another chord with like 1 or 2 notes sort of going between the bars. The chorus itself is also quite easy. And of course, yes, there's guitar solo, but it's up to you if you want to try it out or not. But yes, this main riff is awesome. I love playing it even to this day. I can't get enough of it. So yeah, just try it out. Cloud Connected by Inflamed. It's absolute classic. Love it. And finally, we are going for Asking Alexandria with the final episode for the final pick on this video. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna be the hardest track to learn off this list. Not because of the solos or anything, because this one doesn't really have any solos, but more for the fact it is the fastest. That's not a bad thing, because if you can crack it, well, then you've pretty much cracked the foundation for most modern metal bands, because you've got fast palm muted guitar parts at the start, combined with string skipping, and then if you learn the opening bit as well, you've pretty much learned the verse as well, because it's pretty much the opening, barring the actual fast picking part. The chorus itself is also quite simple in that it's just mainly open chords with this one small lick that it's beyond easy to learn. It won't be that hard to learn. And of course, this song will technically have your first introduction to your first breakdown, which is a great moment because it means you can finally wail in on your guitar and not sound like an idiot. And also a lot of the song is just straight up synthetic EDM stuff, so you don't even have to play for a lot of it. The final episode, Asking Alexandria. But anyway, those are my picks for 5 metal songs that beginner guitarists can learn to get their journey going, at those small victories, as I said, when starting this new skill. So with that in mind, I would like you guys to write down below what are some of the first things you learned on guitar as a metalhead and how did you find learning them? Again, as I said in this video, mine was For Whom the Bell Tolls and a lot of Metallica riffs. So with that all in mind, thank you guys for watching. Of course, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And without further ado, stay hydrated and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.